I mean, you can look at the roster even from going from spring to now. A lot of new pieces. Obviously, I'm one of the new pieces coming in the spring. So I think building off what we did in the spring into the summer has been a big part of adjusting and growing as a team. And I think it's coming along nicely.
How is the communication going with Doug?
It's been great. He's a loud QB, which all centers like because you need to be to communicate. I try to be a loud center, and we're always talking back and forth, and there's some pretty good chemistry there.
With the go-go offense, like a lot of times it's kind of like run and shoot principles, right? Where you don't have to sustain your blocks as long as you might in a traditional offense. Is that the case?
If you ask Coach Vice, absolutely not. So we're going to go with no. And I've talked to the guys, and even after the spring game, certain O-line principles are still evident throughout, no matter what you run. Might not be the best looking guys, but you got to be gritty and aggressive. So we try to live through that.
How is UNLV football different than Buffalo in terms of practice or culture?
First thing, the weather. The weather is definitely different. Practice, I mean, we both kind of use that pro style practice style. So it's similar in that aspect. The coaches here are intense, just like at Buffalo. It's very similar. Obviously, different styles of offenses. So that's probably the biggest difference, but overall, pretty similar.
How important is settling, on a set five? Barry Adams talked about, wanting to rotate a lot and have a lot of flexibility, but at what point do you have to kind of get into a groove where it's the same five guys?
Yeah, and I think right now is a great time for just trying different things, trying different pieces at different positions. Even from yesterday to today, our starting five has changed, and obviously, we're not playing a game tomorrow, so who knows who that'll be. But I think it's just important, and we try to stress to the younger guys even, hey, if you're running with the 3s, 4s, just get ready. Someone can go down, you got to know what to do, and just having versatility is a key aspect.
Where are you guys right now in terms of being ready to play? If there was a game, in a couple of days, it's still 25 plus days away, but how do you feel you are right now as a group?
I feel like we're doing really well, honestly. Shout out to Coach Fish because the summer conditioning was no joke at all. Obviously, once you get in pads, it's a little different just as far as, especially being lineman, you're moving someone every play, not necessarily running, but I felt great. I think if you ask any of the linemen, they'd say the same thing. So I think we're very close to being there.
What's the battle like at left guard? I'm not even sure it's a battle, but there's been two different left guards next to you. One, just talk about Alani and his strengths.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you guys have seen Alani. He's a big kid, and he uses that to his advantage. Obviously, not necessarily a whole lot of experience yet, so it's just kind of getting him up to speed, and he's done a great job responding in that. So yeah, he could very well be a key aspect and possibly a starter for us even.
What about Sua? We don't know a whole lot about him. He's a hometown guy, but came back from Western Colorado, and we see him out there with the ones initially.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I didn't know a whole lot about Sua for the first 2 weeks. He's very quiet. He's a silent assassin, if you will. So he's another big guy, of course. Good feet for his size. Kind of the same thing, just getting used to the speed of our offense, speed of Division I football and everything. So he's another guy, like I said. He's going to be a key aspect of what we do.
Against this 3-3-5, what's your responsibility in terms of shouting out instructions, and what's it like to go against this defense? Because obviously it has multiples.
It's hectic at times, but I love it, especially during camp, because it's all football right now, and this is going to be the most difficult defense we probably see all season. So as far as being a center, a lot of responsibilities. Like you said, a lot of different fronts. Back is always shifting. 3 safeties is a pretty rare look for college football. But it's a good responsibility to have, because once you kind of get into the groove of things, you can slow the game down a little bit.
Who's the guy on the defensive line or guys where when they're in front of you, you're working against them, you're like, man, this is tough?
Darius Johnson has to be one of them. He's a vet here, a guy who, even when I first got here, just instantly had respect for him. All the guys do. I haven't personally gone up against him. He's kind of getting back into the groove of things, but I've been impressed with Naki as well. Obviously had a bad injury last season, and he's looking at a big season now.